The next part of customizing your template is going in and actually adding content. What you want to have is a template that's going to have everything you need for all your books under normal circumstances, and just the items you need for all your books, not the stuff that changes from book to book. So first thing we do is we go through and remove comments and items you don't want to have in yours. A lot of stuff in here may be more than you actually want. Let's say you don't want a dedication, you just delete it. And you're going to go through and you're going to modify titles, content to match what you should have with yours. For instance, if you have a normal brand, you have a standard author bio. You use that same bio everywhere in all your media, so you have a look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my brand in here, my standard short bio. And one other thing we're going to do is I'm going to make it no indent. I like for the content of that's outside the actually written book to look like this. No indent, one space between characters. That's only for the content, the front and back matter that are not part of the actual book story. The other thing you want to do is while you're going in here and changing that, make sure all your internet links are hyperlinked. So you want to go in here and make a hyperlink for that one. The hyperlink must be a full HTTP URL. Otherwise it won't work. Once you've done that, the smart thing to do is always to test your hyperlinks and make sure they actually go to where you think they should go and not that they're broken. And we see that this one works fine. So my bio in place, I'm going to leave the table of contents because that's auto-generated. I'm going to skip the book text for now because that's going to change from one book to the next. So instead we're going to go all the way down to the acknowledgments. In the acknowledgments, I use a template for the most part that stays mostly the same but may change from book to book. But I always start with the same basic one. And I'm going to make that no indent, space between it. And again, I would go through and change all hyperlinks and make sure they are fully spelled out so that they actually work. And after each one, you test it and make sure it actually goes where you think it should. So yeah, both those seem to work. Again, when I come to about the author, it's the same thing. I have a standard long bio. Insert that and make sure that it's type no indent, space between the characters, and then I also make sure I have my links. And I'm not going to put all of them in right here because that would just take a long time for something we don't need to do. But notice that when I actually spell out the whole one, when I go to make a hyperlink out of it, it's already correctly formatted. I can just go in, make my hyperlink, test it, and everything looks good. I wouldn't change the free preview section because that's going to change with each book, but I would go in and definitely put in my bookstore. My bookstore is the final call to action. You just had a reader love your book, tell them, ask them to buy some more, ask them to write a review. So in this case, we're going to go back, we're going to make it all left justified. We're going to take the name of each series, We're going to make that heading type 3. And then we would go through to each of these books and add a hyperlink to the actual book on Amazon. So in this case, let's take one of my books, and what you'll find is if you go to the right side, there's a share button, and that will give you the short link to your book. I copy that, go to my book name, add the Amazon link, and I do that for all my books. At that point, you should have a template that has all your information, all formatted correctly, all ready to go. If there's things you want to change, if you want to go in and change your book name, bold, things of that type. Well, let's say I wanted to go in here and say all my books I want to have bold. What we use is the strong style. And you'll go through the entire document and you'll make all these changes because you only want to have to do this once, and it'll work for every book you write in the future. Okay, now let's say it's all done. It's not in this case, but I don't want to take all the time. We're going to save that as a Word template, which means going up here, going into the template area, and then calling it whatever we want to. So in this case, we're going to call it my TT Tales Fiction ebook template. And I'll save that. And now your template's ready to actually add real content to it. Add your book. And that's it for this one.